Oistes. So the Rebbe continues now to explain that just like we're talking about that there's these three madreges, there's the Rotzen Hanelam, and then the Rotzen Hamuchlat. So the Rotzen Hamuchlat, which is entirely higher than the actual Rotzen or a Rotzen for our Machshava, even a Rotzen Hanelam for Malchus, in Rotzen HaMuchlat itself, there's also the two aspects. One aspect of Rotzen HaMuchlat is that even though there is no real connection between the Sarusa de Latata and the Sarusa de Le'ela, and because Atzmus is not defined not by top and not by bottom, not by higher or lower. So it can also come, Ratzon HaMuchlat can also come in a way that the Sarusa de Latata is Ma'ira, the Sarusa de Le'ela, so that the Tkiya Shaifa de Malchus, the Ratzon HaMuchlat decides on its own that when the shofar is blown, then there will be a Ratzon Golui for Malchus. That's one aspect, but that's already in Ratzon HaMuchlat, the haflo, that it is not restricted by its higher level. It can also come down to the lower level. But then there's the idea, the other aspect of Rotzen HaMuchlat, it's not shayches at all to the Rotzen HaGolui. It's only because B'chiras HaAtzmas. It's not that the Rotzen HaMuchlat impacts so that the Rotzen HaGolui will be Meser B'Serusa de Latata. But it's B'chlal higher, and it's not, doesn't relate to the Rotzen HaGolui. Let's look inside Tess. V'hinei gam berotzin hamuchlat shnei inyonim. Also, in the rotzin hamuchlat, there is two aspects to it. Kemoishu b'shayches lerotzin hagolui, as it's connected to the revealed rotzin, which means it's a part which the rotzin hamuchlat impacts the rotzin hagolui, which means shayidei hamshochas rotzin hamuchlat. When you bring down the rotzin hamuchlat, Mis oirer harotzen golui al yidei isaruso de latata. So the rotzen hamuchlat gets aroused. So this brings about that the rotzen hamuchlat brings around that there should be the Ratzon Golui through this Rusa de Latata. After Rusa de Latati bein Aroich. So even though that it's ein Aroich, and still we're having the Rusa de Latata me'oirer the Rusa de Leila because of the Ratzon HaMuchlat. So that's an association still. So the Ratzon HaMuchlat has an impact on the Ratzon HaGolui. The Inyan Zed, that idea of Ratzon HaMuchlat at that level, who haflo the atzmus oirin sof. That is the separation and distinction. As we learned earlier, this is the hafshota, the non description or non design of atzmus oirin sof, that it's not restricted, it's not doesn't come down in only in a certain seer, in a certain format. And he is not defined in any definitions. And it is in Hashem's ability that you can arouse even through a matter which has no comparison. You're blowing the shofar, you're saying the malchiyos How would this arouse anything? It's a nivra, ein aroich. Yet, the Rotzen HaMuchlat provides that it doesn't need to be defined. It can come down even though it has no comparison. There's no connection there, and yet the Rotzen Yisarus L'Tata will be mamshel the Rotzen Golur. It can also arouse an idea which is uncomparable. As we explained earlier, Sivhei be'inyan ha'aflo, with the idea of hafloas haseichel. We talked about how the hafloas haseichel can come down in a moshel. So we said because the haflo shimitz shaflo izeh she'ein mugdar b'yicholto leirid lamata. That being distinguished and separated is it's not defined, and it can also go down below. So that's one level in Rotzen HaMuchlat. The Rotzen HaMuchlat, which allows for the Sarusa de Latata, which is Ein Aroich, to bring down the Sarusa de Leila. But then you have a Rotzen HaMuchlat Atzmai. You have the Rotzen HaMuchlat by itself. Shehu Mitzad B'chiras HaAtzmus. That is because Atzmus chose that. He chooses it not because this is the greatness. The Zeshu Huchlat Etzle Lirtzis Kach. That area of Huchlat that he decided should want so. It's not because through this revelation you can tell the greatness. That the Seichel is so great it can come down even to a mosh, in this case, that Atzmus, that it can come down that through the Avodah of Anivra, there is a response from the Eibishter. This shows the Hafla. No, that's not the Elishekain Bochar B'Bchiros HaChavshi. This is that he has chosen in his free will. And the Rebbe says this because these are the three areas, we'll explain the Psukim now, and the three areas in which Shofar is. On one level, Shofar brings down the Rotzen Golui, together with the first level of Rotzen Elam. In this second level, at the time of Tkiyas Shofar, you bring down that the Sarusa de Latata should be Ma'ira, the Sarusa de La'ela, the Rotzen HaMuchlat. But that's the Rotzen HaMuchlat as it's connected to the Haflah, to bring down the Ein Aroich, to be Mamshich in. And then you have the Rotzen HaMuchlat Be'atzmusei, which is higher than all of the above. And these are the three aspects of Tkiyas Shofar. V'shleimar, the Zeu Shebetkiyas Shofar Gimel Inyonim, that in blowing the Shofar we have three ideas, B'chlolo generally speaking. HaMitzvah Shabbat, one is the mitzvah, the blowing of the Shofar. And Inyan HaTshuva, the idea that with the Shofar you do Tshuva. And then V'abitl Pnimi Shemetzad Etzem HaNeshama, and the inner subjugation, the Etzem HaNeshama, which comes by Tkiyas Shofar. These three aspects elicit the three levels from the Rotzen. Shekim HaMitzvah de Tkiyas Shofar, the fulfillment of the mitzvah of Tkiyas Shofar, who are Yisruso de Letato HaMoireres as a Rotzen Golden Canal. The blowing of the Shofar, that's the arousal from below, which arouses the open Rotzen canal from Hashem to want to be Malchus, Mekabel Malchus. Validei HaTshuva de Tkiyas Shofar. But the Tshuva in Tkiyas Shofar, the Inyan HaTshuva hu sheyetzem ha'agbolas shaloi. What is Tshuva? Tshuva means you're going out of your limitations, that you're not being limited by but you're doing with Mesiras Nefesh, you're doing L'maylo Medila V'Hagbola, you're going out of your limitations. And that nimshach haflo bligvul sheba'atzmus ein itself, that brings down the level of haflo, the bligvul, which is an atzmus ein itself. Shahayis, what do we need to bring that out? Shahayis is the rotzen hagolui. That how did we bring out? How did we awake the rotzen hagolui? Or the inyan shebein arech, which is the rotzen hamuchlet shebenegel rotzen hagolui. That's the rotzen hamuchlet as it connects to the rotzen hagolui. That's the hafloah that it can come down this order from the serusa the latata serusa later. The third level, the revelation etzem neshama shal deit ki shofar, that the etzem of the neshama is revealed. Nimshach rotzen hamuchlet atzmai. That brings the rotzen hamuchlet by itself. That's bechidas ha'atzmus. That's the level of bechidas ha'atzmus, not the haflos, not the bligvul of the atzmus, but that's the rotzen hamuchlet, the rotzen hamuchlet for the Eibishter by himself. Yud. This last idea that we're saying that your bittul, the gilu of etzem and neshama, brings down atzmus, and this is actually the reason the Rebbe explains in Ois Yud, because of that bittul atzmus, which is mamshich atzmus, and that brings down dir betachtoinim atzmus, and because of that we have this whole process. Because of the level of rotzin hamuchlet as it's connected, and this rusdil tata, it wouldn't be so necessary to have this process every year. But because of the bittul of the etzem haneshama, this third level, that's why we need, because it has to come down betachtoin. Let's see what the Rebbe says. Yud. We can say that what is the inner reason for the fact that in every Rosh Hashanah all matters go back to their original, the way they stated they were in the beginning? Because when we draw down Malchus, even the Malchus that is for the world, because we said before, we have Hamshachas HaMalchus for Neshamas Yisrael, but also the Hamshachas HaMalchus just for the world. He al yidei imru lefonai malchiyos. That also comes by saying before me malchiyos, that even that level comes down through that highest level of bittul. Habittul she mitzad etzem haneshama, the subjugation which is from the essence of the soul, shemagia or mamshich es rotzah muchlet atzmei, which reaches and draws down the rotzah muchlet itself. Through this, through that bitl of the Etzer and Neshama, we have a greater gilu also in the oilam. So by the oilam, conceivably, could just have a Yisrusa del Tata Babshach the Rotzen Goli. But no, because it comes from the Etzer and Neshama, which is Mamshach, the Rotzen Muchlat Atzmai, it extends a greater elevation in the world. The Hagam, even though we said before, as it pertains to the worlds, it's mainly the revealed level of Rotzim Mekomoker. Since the arousal and bringing down the open Rotzim comes through this Rusul Tata, comes by drawing down this rotzen muchlet, which is through the subjugation of the essence of the neshama. Otherwise, the rotzen goli wouldn't help, because you need that connection. So therefore, some of this from the level of atzmos, from where rotzen muchlet comes, also comes into the world. I guess it's not even tshuva, it's the highest level, because before we were talking about the Ratzon HaMuchlat to come and open the world. But here we're saying the Ratzon HaMuchlat itself, apparently, which is the higher level. That's what the Rebbe just brought out, that you have the third level, B'chiras Atzmus, not only Haflaos, not only the Bligvul, but Atzmus himself. And that comes from the Etzem HaNeshama, the bittul of the Etzem HaNeshama. So then you bring it down also by Olam. And that way we complete the intention of the world. We want the dira should be for Hashem, lo yisbarach. And that comes out through the bittul and the etzem haneshama, and it also comes down into the world. And that's why we have this process, because we want to bring it into the world, that we have this Hamshacha. So it's not only that we need a new Hamshacha because Rosh Hashanah every year is only for 1 year, but it's also the idea in this new Hamshacha we should have Atzmos in it. And therefore, all of the aspects of it, the level of Teshuvah and also the level of Bittul that brings down the level of Ratzon HaMuchlat. And that's why, because we want that to go down all the way into the Olam, so that creation of the world should be a Dir Lo Yizbarach. Yudalef. V'zeu Yivchar Lonu es נחלתינו es Ga'on Ya'akov. So going back to explain the pasuk, choose for us our inheritance, the pride of Yaakov. So the Shapakosha, the pasuk zeh. What is the request of this particular pasuk? Yivchar Lonu. Similarly, also generally this mizmor that we say before Tkiyas Shofar, She'emrim Kodim Tkiyas Shofar, that we say before Tkiyas Shofar. What is the request? Shal Yidei Ha'avodah Tkiyas Shofar, that through the work of Tkiyas Shofar, Tiyah Noisef Al Kiyum HaMitzvah Tkiyas Shofar, in addition to fulfilling the mitzvah of Tkiyas Shofar. And also the level of tshuva. We're asking for an additional thing. We're asking for Yivchar Lonu es נחלתינו. Gam Gilui Etzem HaNeshama K'moshiu Meshureshes Ba'atzmos. We're saying this kapitel so that we want to wake up to reveal the essence of the neshama as it's rooted in Atzmos. The reason the neshamas, the fact that they are rooted in Atzmos, because that's what Hashem chose in Yivchar Lonu. Yivchar Lonu, He chose for us. So we're praying that Yivchar Lonu, our neshama, let it arise, which Hashem chose. Mamshich es נחlתינו es Ga'on Ya'akov. And then we say that is our inheritance, the pride of Yaakov. The Gilui Inyan Zeh. Where is it revealed? That root of Atzmos, which is the neshama, is in the Nekudas Ayadus, in the point of view of נחlתינו. Harshoyre b'Nekudas Halev shev'kol echad miYisrael. That rests in the heart of every single Yid. That's where that neshama that is mushrosh ba'atzmos is revealed in the point of Yiddishkeit, in the Pentala Yid that we all have. That's the Beis Mikdash of the Yaakov. And that's the Beis Mikdash of Yaakov. That's why it's called the נחlתינו Ga'on Ya'akov. Papi hamevuar li'il. Sif Yud, we just explained. Shayidei gilu shoyresh haneshamas nimshach men gilu zeh. That through revealing the root of the neshamas atzma, so similar to that gilui, it extends gam ba'olam. So that brings it about in the world. Shayidei zeh nishlemes hakavona didire b'tachtoinim. That way we complete the intent to have atzmos. The dira in tachtoinim should be with atzmos. So now, the Rebbe says, based on all this, is yesh levair hakesher da apirush shegoin Yaakov koy al beis hamikdash v'kol echad miYisrael. So the Rebbe asked earlier, in this interpretation, the Frierdiker Rebbe gave from the that it goes in the Beis Hamikdash, that it's in every Yid. In Mapirush Shekoyal Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi, with the simple meaning, the Rebbe asked that it goes on the third Beis Hamikdash. Ki Iker ha'inyan the Dire B'Tachtonim, because the main Dire B'Tachtonim that we want to accomplish, Yivchar Lona, through bringing down Atzmus, Yib Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi. That's going to be in the third Beis Hamikdash. Which will be built speedily in our days through a righteous Mashiach. Yesh loymar, noisef al hashaychus da haposik, yivchar lonu goymer leklolus ha'inyan t'kiyah shofar. In addition, now we explain the connection of the posik yivchar to the idea of shofar, because shofar reaches not only into the rotzen golui, but also to the rotzen hamuchla, to atzmus. But yesh l'shaychus miyechedes la posik shel achrav. This has a very specific connection to the pasuk that follows. Ola lekim besrua havaya b'koil shofar, and we darshan the pasuk lekim goes up with trua, and then havaya it turns to havaya b'koil shofar. Shadorshu Chazal, our sages of blessed memory, expounded the idea sheYisrael neitlim es shofreim, that through the Yidden taking their shofars, the toikel l'fnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they blow before Hashem. He stands up from the throne of judgment and sits on Kisei Rachamim. So there's a special connection of Yivchar Lonu, this pasuk of Bechiras Atzmus, with that pasuk. What is the idea? Which means that there is a higher level in Havaya that comes through the Hamshachas Atzmus, which is accomplished in that pasuk of Ola Lekim Bisru Havaya B'Kol Shefer. Those compassions which extend through the arousal below, they're limited based on what is Rusul. So that's limited. So what's the connection of this two psukim? When they take the shofar and they blow, as we say, a biblical shofar, it's not just Rusul Tata, El Shal Yidei Mizgale B'chidas Atzmus B'Yisrael. That through taking the shofar, they're also revealing that Atzmus shows the Yidden. Therefore, the compassion that is drawn down through that shofar, which brings the Bechiras Atzmus that comes from Atzmus, Hem Rachmim B'Ligvu. They are non-limited compassion. V'nimshach ma'Kodesh Baruch Hu Atzmus. This comes from Hashem Himself, Ma'atzmus. L'kol echad ve'echad, and it extends to each one and one of the Yidden Ksivach Simatova and the Shana Tova Mesuka, to be written and sealed for the good, a good and a sweet year, B'Toiv Hanira V'Hanigla, in good that is seen and visible.